Good evening. It's the 19th of January 2026, another edition of sportsView. Good evening, Joe, and welcome.
Good evening, Pat. Evening, Darwin.
Good evening, Darwin. Welcome.
Hi, Pat. Hey, Joe.
Now, we will be covering the usual suspects on the show: soccer, rugby, golf, snooker, and tennis. The Australian Open started the weekend, and the Iron Man himself, Novak Djokovic, won his first match without breaking a sweat. That's the way I'm reading it, there we go. For people who are interested in that, you can contact the show in here and make your comments as well. We'll be only too delighted to have you. And we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, I think. Yeah. My producer is remotely watching me, so I'll have to be on my best behavior. Anyway, over the weekend we had wins in the Premiership for Manchester United, Chelsea, Leeds, Sunderland, West Ham. Now Liverpool drew with Burnley, and Spurs, Palace, and Sunderland. I have on top of the sheet here. I watched a lot of soccer over the weekend. I saw Sunderland. You know what struck me when I was watching the Sunderland match? They're a very exciting team to watch. All movement, all energy, I don't know any of the players. I have to apologize for all the Sunderland reporters, because I haven't seen it before. I don't know any of them, but they were just very good in the eye and on television. I know what you think, lads, of Sunderland yourselves, I thought they were very good,
Oh, they're a very energetic team. I mean, if you were to look, I think back on the season as it's happening, they've scored goals late on, so they never give up. They can be a very, very physical team. They score from a lot of different in a lot of different ways. They score from free kicks, from throw-ins, so they're making the most of everything, and they really have. They've really surprised me, to be honest. I didn't think that they were going to be
as well
as good as they were. I mean, they're the best of the three teams that came up, right? Yeah. And they're looking pretty comfortable, to be honest. So it's
well, Leeds are showing a bit of form now as well,
Yeah, they are. They are.
That Sunderland team work hard for each other, though, don't they?
Oh yeah, they really do. Yeah.
Now, in the Manchester derby over the weekend, we have to mention this. I thought it was their best performance of the year so far. The Manchester United team, as a team, I thought all the players played very well. Every one of them, I thought, I thought they totally dominated Man City. I mean, you must remember they had 3 goals disallowed, and they still won 2-0,
And they hit the bar twice.
Yeah. No, so, it was a good performance by them. I mean, they really set about their task and really. I mean, and we talked a little before we come on air about it. You don't want to get too carried away because it's only one game.
Yeah.
But you have to start somewhere.
You do,
and that's as good a place as any to start with a win over City. But I will say this though, that City were there for the taking in this game, and just from the standpoint of defensively, they are very, very stretched right now, and they've got 3 young guys playing at the back with Nathan Ake. And Nathan Ake is, I can see why they've signed Mark Gouy. Because Nathan Ake now is shown he's shown his lack of pace and what have you. I think that he was part of the and I thought a large part of it. Of the goal against Chelsea last week when they equalised with the last kick of the game practically.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened yesterday against United.
Yes.
He is in an area where he's covering the near post area, but he doesn't cover it close to the end line. He was covering it too far up, and he gave him too much room to play the ball between him and the goalkeeper. And that resulted in a goal last week, and it resulted in one of the goals yesterday. So I think that from that standpoint, it was, it was kind of everything working out for United. Now, don't get me wrong, they played well, they defended well, they did a lot of good things. They were, to put it in the way that it was before, if you looked at Giggs and Beckham when they were raiding down the wings and Ronaldo down the wings, they were getting that width and that penetration. And
I thought my man in the match for United was Martinez at the back. I think he's a terrific player.
Yeah.
First one, and I don't think Haaland got a shot at goal, did he? In the whole match?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's been kind of a feature of Manchester City this year. Haaland is not getting many touches during the game.
No.
And they haven't figured out a way to get him involved yet. Now, he's still scored how many goals? 15 goals or something like that this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nobody going to write him off, but I think he's a very limited player.
Well, I mean, his strengths are that he's a goal scorer.
Yeah.
He's a big, powerful man. He's a goal scorer. He can run in behind. But unfortunately, the way City play, they don't play a lot of balls in behind. They play in front of defenders. And, he gets on the end of crosses, fair play to him. And he does sniff out goals. So, I mean, he is a good goal scorer without a doubt. There's nobody can say anything about that.
He is, yeah.
But he is not the kind of a player that that is really going to be a great target player, because he doesn't really have great touches on the ball to hold play up and then play it off. And that's not the way they play anyway. So
no, but we're talking about Haaland there when he didn't get much of a game against United.
I don't think he was. United didn't give them a chance to have him in the game, did they?
No.
Well, I mean, if you're going to play against Man City with Haaland up front, who would be the guy that you would want to mark him?
Maguire all day.
There you go, all day long. They have a perfect centre half that's as big and as tough and as strong as him. He doesn't have his pace.
Martinez did a good job in him. Martinez did a good job in him.
Yeah, they both did, but you have Maguire there as well. That's
Maguire
a very powerful centre half.
I thought Darlow got lucky.
He should have been gone.
Yeah, Darlow for that tackle.
Darlow for that tackle on.
I think he's the one player that didn't strike me as up to much, not because of the tackle, but I think he's a weak player on the United team.
I wouldn't disagree with you. I think that he has not pushed on the way that they had hoped he was going to.
No.
And he is getting a game. But, I mean, they must see something in him, because now you've got another manager that's coming in and he's played him in his first game. So, we don't see him training every day, so we don't see what they really bring to the table.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see next Sunday what kind of a team they put out against Arsenal,
Yeah, it'll be very interesting.
Aston Villa slipped up against Everton, They never got into the game. Never got into the game at all.
No,
I thought they were. I thought they were poor. To be quite honest with you, they were poor.
Who, Arsenal?
Yeah. No, Aston Villa.
Villa didn't have a good day yesterday. They
did not.
had a poor day, and I don't think it helped any when John McGinn went off injured. He does so much for that team with the work that he puts in around the place. But yeah, they had for a team that was so dominant at home to play like that and to lose 1-0. That surprised me out of all of them.
Yeah, I was surprised that Everton won.
Yeah, well, and Everton were struggling as well because they have a few players out. So, but again, David Moyes and his coaching staff put a good plan together to do what they needed to do, and they got a result. Everton are a real funny team.
He's a good manager.
Yeah, he is a good manager, and they can win games that you wouldn't expect them to win, and then they lose games that you wouldn't expect them to lose. I mean, the game against Newcastle when they lost, what was it, 3-0 or 3-1 at home last week? That was, I mean, Everton totally dominated that game in terms of chances and play. They just couldn't score to save their lives. And then Newcastle scored at, I think they must have put every chance they had away. So, but yeah, that was disappointing. I think that even though City lost yesterday, with Arsenal drawing, now that's Arsenal draw 2 games in a row, and
that's right. Yeah,
the Arsenal are they need to take those chances. They've drawn 2 matches in a row now. That would have put them another 6 points. If they'd won yesterday, that would have put them another 4 points ahead of.
They'll be 11 points ahead. But Arsenal are on 50 points. Man City on 43. Aston Villa still on 43. Liverpool on 36. Man United on 35. Chelsea 34. And Brentford on 33. That's the Premiership table. In the African Nations Cup, I don't just see any of that, Joe.
I did, yeah. I did.
Senegal won it 1-0 over Morocco. Morocco, of course, were playing at home in Rabat.
Yeah.
Playing the final at home, and they were favourites to win it. But fair play. I was delighted for Sadio Mane. I think he's a terrific player and a terrific person as well.
Yeah.
It was great to see him winning 1-0. And it was a bit farcical. They were awarded a penalty, that is Morocco, and the Senegalese team walked off the pitch.
And so
they stayed off the pitch.
I don't understand how they walk off the pitch and the match is not called there and then.
Well, under the rules, they should have forfeited the game because they were off for 15 minutes. They just didn't walk down and walk back. I mean, and Infantino was at the match. All the FIFA big heads were at the match, and to present the cup to get his photograph taken. But I mean, under the rules, they should have forfeited the match. I want to put someone out there misery. I know I'm wearing a soccer jersey tonight, and for that, I won't mention your name. It's the Cork City FC jersey that I'm wearing. People don't know what it is.
There you go.
I
have no idea why that game was not called. And to be honest, it was a penalty. I mean, the defender grabbed him and threw him to the ground. So I don't know what their argument was.
With due respect to junior soccer and fair green, you wouldn't see a fair green player take a penalty like that.
Well, but again, it goes, I mean, there's so many things that go into this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking now, it's tough enough in a game when you're a penalty taker, and it's in a final.
Yeah.
Right, and it's in the biggest final that their country has played in, and they haven't won it for 50 years. So it's you're there, and you're in the game frame of mind and what have you. But then the other team walks off, and then 15 minutes later, they come back and you go back out to take the penalty. And all the things that have gone through your mind from the time that they walked off to the time they came back. And he hasn't been warming up again. I didn't see any part of that where they all got warmed up again and got ready for the game. I mean, they walk out, okay, we start where we were 15 minutes ago. We pick up where we were, where the guy is probably cold and what have you, and his mental state at this stage. I don't care what anybody says. They're still human, and players still are going to make mistakes, and you can talk yourself out of it very, very easily. And it plays mind games with you. And it was, it was a poor decision by him to take the penalty the way he did. But to me, if your team walks off the field, you forfeited the game. That's it. You're done. And the coach should be kicked out of football for taking his team off the field.
And
he should be suspended.
You're right, Joe. I always thought the rule was that they'd forfeit the game.
Yeah.
In all sports, is really.
Yeah. If you leave the field of play, then you've lost the right to win the game. That's it. So I don't know. I saw this morning that a blurb that FIFA have decided on the punishment for them, but the punishment should have been that they didn't win the tournament. So what are we saying now? That teams can walk off the field in the future? Well, if the result is going against them?
A decision, if a decision goes against you, you can take your team off. I mean, it's a very bad precedent to be setting. Bad precedent.
It's a disgrace. An absolute disgrace.
I'd say it is, without a shadow of a doubt, It's a very bad...
We've all... There isn't one of us that hasn't played in a game where there's been a decision that went against us. And in this case, it happens to be the correct decision. So it's not even... It's dubious. The defender had his arms around his neck and threw him to the ground.
Yeah.
Right? So, and there was the other one that happened on the other side of it, where the guy was trying to get a header on the ball to the left-hand side. That was another one where there was a defender pulling it forward. So there could have been two in there. So, I mean, it just blows me away that a coach now does this and can. So if we go back to it, Roberto Duran, no mas.
Yeah.
And then he decides after a few minutes, I'm going to fight on, and he knocks out the other guy.
Yeah.
Come on, you've lost any chance when you say I'm quitting, I'm out of it, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
that to me
is sports, if you take your team out of the competition, in any sport, you forfeit the game.
Yeah.
And how Infantino, but we know Infantino FIFA are allowing themselves anywhere.
Yeah.
Going back to the time when they gave the World Cup to a country that had no soccer team.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's anything goes on, I'm afraid. But it'd be interesting to see, will there be any ramifications in the next World Cup over this incident,
Yeah.
Will it be tested? Yeah. sportsView is the program here on their media, and all the information is down at the bottom. You can comment into the studio as well. Durbin just said his Wi-Fi has gone down, so he may be back before we finish. I may not, but his Wi-Fi is acting up, so that's the dignity about it, We'll see later on in there. Will he come back to us? No. George Best was in an interview before he passed away. I just played this here while we were taking a sportsView. He was asked to pick out his World 11 soccer players. I don't think many people have seen
Goalkeeper Love Yashin. Defenders are Dalma Santos, Carlos Alberto, and Milton Santos. Midfielders Beckenbauer, Cruyff, and Maradona. Forward is Di Stefano, Puskas, Pelé, and Bobby Charlton.
That's Georgie's 11. It's a pretty good team. Pretty good team.
It's not a bad team right there.
I mean, old fogies like you and me will remember Lev Yashin.
Oh yeah.
When Boyncroft called him a clown, remember? When they put England out of the World Cup. Was it? No, that wasn't Lev Yashin. I'm thinking of the Polish.
Tomaszewski. Yeah. No, I saw. It's funny, you know, back when I first went to England, and I was an apprentice. We had an England under-23 match played at Filbert Street when we played at Filbert Street at that time, and what they would have before the games, you know, they'd have like a World 11 against an England 11 kind of thing, and the guys would tour around and, you know, play in the different things that would bring them in, and I remember we were in there, and Lev Yashin was in goal, right, and Puskas played, right. So Puskas came into the dressing room and before the game, and he didn't have any boots. So Dave Jones, who was our equipment manager, brought him down to the equipment room, and he always had spare boots, brand new ones in boxes in a closet. So Puskas comes down, tries them on, right, and goes out, plays the game, come back in, and I was working the home team dressing room. That was my job, cleaning up after and picking up the kit, mopping the floors and cleaning the baths and all that stuff. So after the game, anyway, I'm going around doing my stuff, and Puskas gives me the boots, and I take them back down to Dave Jones, and I give them to him, and we clean them and put them back in. And the next morning we came into training, and the apprentices always come in an hour before the professionals. So we put all the kit out on the pegs and what have you, and have it ready for the lads when they all come in for training. And I was walking back down the corridor to the boot room, and Dave Jones says to me, he says, you need a new pair of boots, don't you? He said, you got the ones you have are the toe was torn out of them, you know, from dragging your foot. And I said, yeah, I said, I do. He said, what size are you? I said, 7.5. He said, here, come here. Oh, he takes me into the boot room, opens up the box, and he says, you know who wore them last night? I said, no. He said, no. I said, really? I said, Puskas? He said, yeah. He says, do you want them? I was walking on cloud 9. I get to wear the same boots as Puskas. My feet couldn't touch the floor as I was going back to the boot room and putting them on my leg.
Did they bring you good luck?
Oh, they did, yeah. So, but yeah, it was just, and all these guys were just great guys, you know.
Yeah.
All very respectful, and
they didn't have three or four people around them, bodyguards and all this.
No, that was it. Yeah, so great days.
If you have any comments about the soccer of the weekend, please let us know. We'd appreciate that. Rugby, the European Cup is in full flow at the moment, and down south here where I am, Munster were beaten by Cast at home, 29-31. They were beaten by Cast. They're out of the European Cup now. That is, Munster are. Their season is over. Well, they're still in the URC, the United Rugby Championship, but in the European foray, that's the end of the road for them. And it was a very disappointing end because they were playing at home, and really, if you down through the years, many teams did not want to play Munster at home in rugby, but I think that the province is suffering mainly because of money, cash. By in rugby now, it's very important. They buy players. I mean, Leinster bought one or two All Blacks. We couldn't. Munster don't have the resources to do that. And since all those greats retired, like Paul O'Connell, Rowan O'Gara, and Stringer, and all of them, all gone, they were never really replaced with top world class players. That's no reflection on the players that are there. I'm saying they're a step below all them, But that's
Yeah,
the
but
reality.
you also have to realize, though, for a group of players like that to come along at
Generation.
at one time, is you're we were very fortunate to get that many good players at the same time.
Oh
When
yes,
you're talking about Keith Arrows and Murray
yeah.
and all
Oh,
those guys, and O'Gara and guys like
O'Connell.
that, Stringer. We were so fortunate to have them,
Oh, they were
and
just amazing.
people sometimes forget that you cannot have the conveyor belt running all the time like that, because you just don't produce that many great players at the same
And
time.
we don't have traditional rugby schools, what they call rugby schools down south, as they have in up around Leinster and Dublin. We don't have them down here. A lot
Oh
of
no, people. I mean, I
yeah,
I bet you people don't have a clue. We went up to a few years ago when I brought my high school team over to play. Uh, uh, Over Easter we came and we played Pike Rovers and Crescent Comp in a couple of soccer matches, and we went up to Clongowes Woods as well on our way up to Dublin,
yeah.
and we stopped off at Clongowes Woods and played a match there, and we got to the school, got on the campus, and the whole thing. They had 19 rugby pitches and one soccer pitch. Now,
Yeah.
so there you have it, right? And it's like, so what it is. It's like Clongowes Woods, Blackrock, all
Yeah.
those schools that you read about all the time. I mean, they are, and of course you have the population up there.
Well, you have as well. You have.
You know,
But in any case, Leinster beat Bayonne 22-13. Connacht beat in the Challenge Cup. Connacht beat Montauban, another French team, 75-14. And Ulster beat Stade Francais. Now there we are, 26-19. Now Stade Francais are in the Challenge Cup. They're a French team that were top of the pile not too long ago. They were the bar. They set the bar for everybody else. They are down now in the Challenge Cup. It's a circular thing, I suppose.
yeah,
And I mean, soccer, rugby is the number one sport in France by a long shot, way over soccer around the province, around the towns.
yeah.
And there you are. That's the roundup of the European Cup. In golf, we had the opening salvo, the Dubai Invitational. Pity now Dermot's going to want to pick his brain, but anyway, Shane Lowry was in contention for a long time, right up to the 18th hole, and his second shot went into the bunker, which wasn't a disaster because he was one shot ahead at that time. He His bunker shot went into water. After coming out of the bunker, the shot went into water, so he finished 2 shots behind the Spanish winner of the Dubai Invitational, Elvira. He finished at -10. Lowry finished at -8, along with Rory McIlroy finished the tournament at -8 as well. So they got 131,500 for their trouble dollars. So I suppose it wasn't too bad. The Sony Invitational in Hawaii was on as well, and got her up, won that. Chris got her up at -18, and he got $1.68 million. I mean, for winning a golf tournament, it's some check, isn't it?
Isn't it
I mean,
nice?
just win once. And so anyway, Seamus Powell was playing in that. Seamus Powell finished at -6. He got $50,000 for finishing 31st. 3-1, 31st. So there you go. Anyway, that was the golf tournament. The Masters snooker final was held over the weekend as well. It was contested between Karen Wilson of Wales and John Higgins of Scotland. And thankfully for snooker, in my opinion, Karen Wilson won that 10 frames to 6. And he won 350 grand for his trouble, so he's happy. Good for him. As we mentioned at the top of the program, the Australian Open tennis is just kicked off down under, and Djokovic won his opening match. Emma Raducanu won as well. Zverev won, and Sabalenka won. Paulini won, and they're just a few of the names that people be familiar with who follow tennis. And you can get up in the odds on there all through the night, really. Anyway, it's the Australian Open has been won 10 times by Novak Djokovic, and the win today gave him his 100th victory on 3 of the Grand Slams. Now he's won 100 times or more. That's Australia, France, and Wimbledon. In the US Open, he's won 95 times, so he has 5 more matches to win US Open. Wow. So he's the figures are. He's just an Iron Man. He's just an amazing man, you know. I know, amazing athlete, and has the conviction as well to go along with it as well, you know. Anyway, we'll see how that will pan out in 2 weeks' time. Will be the final, but I don't think, as much as I always love to see him winning his 25th Grand Slam, I don't think he has the game now to beat Sinner or Alcaraz. My opinion. That's all. My opinion. But on a good day, who knows? Who knows? You know, who knows? But I don't think it'll be a good look for tennis for Sinner to win there again. You know, but who knows? He might even get to the final. Anyway, getting back to the soccer, getting back to Man United, who will be playing Arsenal next Sunday at 4:30. Joe, what do you think of that?
It's going to be. It's definitely going to be fun to see it. I mean, you go to the Emirates and you're playing there, and I mean it's going to be a tough game, you know, because Arsenal are a fine team. But I watched the Forest game at the weekend, and they just didn't have the the bounce of the ball. You know, they created so many chances and just couldn't get on the end of them. And Sells made a couple of great saves to keep Forest in it. So I think it's going to be a very tough game for them. It's going to be all hands on deck, and but they have so many weapons.
I think they'll equip themselves well because it's away from home, and I know it's funny. I have no reason to say it, but I really think they might be more relaxed as a team away from home. You know.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they were at home yesterday and they seemed pretty relaxed when they were playing. They played very freely and they looked good. So I hope they can I hope they can keep it up. But it's going to be, it's going to be a tough game for them. No matter how you look at it, Arsenal have got so many weapons in the team, and then guys that they can bring off the bench as well. You have Gyökeres starts the game, and then Jesus comes on for him, and I mean, since he's come back, he has looked really good. So it's been they are just a real good team, and I think Arsenal will edge that one.
Yeah, you could be right. I want to ask you, is this ice hockey season up around your parts there, not further north?
No, we have ice hockey here. Yeah, we do. Yeah. We have the Kraken up in Seattle. We have an amateur team down in Tacoma. So yeah, no, the hockey is very popular. They have it. LA has a team, I think. Who else? So we have LA. Of course, you have the New York teams, the Cleveland teams, Pittsburgh, like the LA teams. You've got Arizona. They've got a team. Vancouver, just up the street.
Yeah.
They have their teams. Of course, most of the Canadian teams and most of the hockey teams are probably Canadian. So
yeah.
But very hugely popular.
Yeah. I saw a bit of a match over the weekend.
Yeah.
When you don't see a sport often enough, you just don't know what's happening in it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't mean that. You just don't know,
we went that match a few years ago when we were playing, and we played in the same arena as the LA Kings played in.
Yeah.
They were playing the night before us in the Staples Center. It was a great big hockey arena, basketball. They played all the sports there. But we went to watch them play, and the only reason we went to watch them play was because they had the fella playing for LA, Tiger Williams, and he was renowned for fighting. He was the gangster on the team, so he'd go out and start the fight with the other team's best player, and that's all we went to watch was the fights.
Yeah.
To see that.
Well, it's a reason. You have to have a reason to watch a game. It's only that, like watching Joaquin put in a tackle.
Yeah, but no, it's a very popular game. But like everything else, it's expensive. A friend of mine went up to watch the Kraken play, got free tickets, and it still ended up costing him $250 for the night with food and drinks. Yeah.
And he had free tickets.
And they had free tickets. Yeah. So there you go with it.
Jeez, that's a lot. This is one of the top female rugby players in America.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like. Here comes the.
That's Ilona Maher, if you ever saw her playing women's rugby. and she's a star, of course, but she is a good player in the American Rugby League. I just saw that clip during the week. I thought it might be interesting for you to see. Sports News program here Monday night on their media, and all the information is down there. You can text us or indeed send us an email or make a comment into the studio, and we'll do the rest for you. Now, Joe, let me see now. Getting back to that scene at the African Cup of Nations with Senegal and Algeria or Morocco, there has to be consequences for something to happen like that. Otherwise, anything goes in soccer.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, let's be honest. If something isn't done and something that is going to be severe punishment, then it makes a mockery of our sport.
Well, that's very true.
I mean, can you imagine anybody else, any other sport doing that?
That's very true.
Yeah, can you imagine the rugby team if they walked off the field, half their team walked off the field because they didn't like what the referee did? Yeah. So I mean that just blows me away so much because it is so unprofessional of the group, and for the players to actually go with the coach when he walked off and said, "Come on, we're getting out of here."
Yeah.
And I mean, I know half of them only went or what have you, but it's still, I mean, it's still disgraceful. It's just a lack of respect for the game. And I mean, is that not bringing the game into disrepute by doing something like that?
There's so many angles to it. There's so many rules broken that I'm flabbergasted when I heard it first. I didn't see it when I heard it first. I thought it was very funny that they allowed him back on and replay the match.
I thought exactly the same thing. I mean, I couldn't believe when I read that Salimano went off and got his team back on the field after 15 minutes. That just blew me away. I mean, I do not.
And what a lot of people didn't report, there was a fighting in the stands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fighting in the stands, and I think that wasn't reported on much either, but I saw that as well. I don't know what way the tournament was run. I don't know what kind of attendance figures were at the tournament as well. I didn't see any of the tournament, I must say. I don't know who had it here on our side of the world. I couldn't see. The mainstream sports programs didn't take it, like Sky Sports and TNT didn't have it here.
Yeah.
So I don't know who had it, And since Eurosport closed down, we have very little coverage now at all, if any of those tournaments, which is a pity really, because I mean there's a lot of good players there. Bournemouth are 1-0 up at half-time in the last of the Premiership games against Brighton, in Brighton. That's Bournemouth are 1-0 up at half-time. So there you go, lads, in case you're wondering how that's going on. Anyway, what was I going to say? So that was our Ilona Maher, and she's we had a clip I had a clip, but I never posted onto my StreamYard. Another one is Brian Clough clips. And Mark Crossley, it's very, very funny,
Yeah.
I didn't realise they used to, as part of the training regime, they used to go for a walk around whatever they were, 2 or 3 tracks, but Clough would be in front with his dog and his stick. You couldn't pass him out, you wouldn't allow to pass him out.
Oh yeah, that was their favourite one. They would because the forest ground is it's right on the River Trent. So they used to walk down the bank of the River Trent, and no one was allowed passing.
No
one was allowed passing. That was the rule. Yeah. So yeah, it's
And he was saying he was very friendly with I don't know who it was on one of the players, and he used to allow him walk his dog, you know,
oh
and
yeah,
and that was his training for that.
yeah,
He didn't have to
yeah.
go training to walk his dog.
So, who was the other one? Tony Woodcock used to play squash with him.
Yeah,
Woodcock, come on, you're not training today. We're going to play squash.
yeah.
So that'd be that. Yeah, no, it was. It
Of
was
course, didn't he have your man with him, Taylor? Taylor, was it?
Peter Taylor. Yeah,
Peter Taylor.
Peter Taylor
The
and
un-
Jimmy Gordon were his
yeah,
two.
Peter Taylor was the unsung hero of Nottingham Forest that time,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because he was. But there's no doubt. But Clough he had he had a fantastic way of measuring a player, of taking the measure of a player that he wanted, you know, of judging a player, you know,
yeah,
and he was nearly always correct about it, you know.
yeah,
I mean, Roy Keane played for Forest when he went over to England first, you know,
yeah.
and he couldn't have had a better apprenticeship to him with Brian Clough.
Right.
As it transpired, he was lucky as well. You could be lucky as well. He didn't fall into, but Man United then were building a team with Ferguson, and the rest is history. But I mean, he had Clough and then he had Ferguson. I mean,
Yeah.
what a career for a young player like that to have, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but they're all in the punditry now. I don't think he'll go back into management anymore. I think he has a nice tough life.
I don't see any benefit for him, to be honest. You know, I mean, you're going to
No,
you're going to put yourself out there again for that. I mean,
I
I
can.
remember a few years ago when we had a national team reunion up in Dublin when the weekend that Ireland played Wales in one of the qualifiers. Stephen Ireland scored, and Steve Staunton was the manager, but he was under a lot of pressure. And I remember being in the hotel with the lads, you know, and
Yeah,
there were a group of us all sitting around, you know, in the bar talking and what have you. And Liam Brady was with us, and Liam, you know, was talking about he wanted to get the manager's job if it came up and
yeah,
what have you. And I said to him, I said, Liam, why would you want to take that job? Because he and I not only played for the national team together, but played
yeah,
on the youth team together back in '72 or something like that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I said to him, I said, why would you even want that job? I
yeah.
said, they'll destroy you like they've done everybody else. They'll turn dog on you the minute results go against you. They're going to turn dog on you, and everything that you've achieved as a player will mean nothing.
No, absolutely zero.
I mean, there's no, you know, they won't give you a break. I mean,
No,
they'll be after your guts straight away. I mean, this after everything Jack did for the national team, and at the end, the whole country practically turned on him when results started going wrong, and they're
yeah.
picking out all the bad things that the team did when they were on their own time
Yeah.
and what have you.
Do you remember his last match against the Netherlands?
Yeah,
When they were beaten that night, and they were well beaten by the Netherlands, and Charlie came out to the pitch after the game, but there were not that many people there clapping him anyway. But
yeah.
he achieved a huge amount for Ireland, Jack Charles.
Well, yeah, he did.
You know, and all the slagging he got, but he stuck these guns. He said, this is what we do, and we do it, and it was very effective. You know, they were
Oh
very
yeah.
unlucky. They were very unlucky in a lot of games as well. You know, you must have luck as well. You know,
Oh, you have to have luck. You
yeah,
have to have luck, and then you know there were other shenanigans going on as well that you know
oh,
that we don't bring up and what have you. But you know, I mean,
allegedly,
yeah, allegedly, yeah,
allegedly.
yeah. But you know what? It happened too many times to the Republic of Ireland for it to be coincidence. You know,
without a shadow of a doubt, you know.
yeah,
There's a film out now called Saipan. In the
yeah.
cinema.
Well, that's another one right there.
Did you get to see it yet?
I haven't seen it yet, no, but
Yeah.
I'm reading about it, and you know, the way that they're making it look, that the lads are out in golf carts and driving around in golf courses and they're drinking and all that. That is so far from the truth. It's
Yeah.
I just don't know how anyone puts that stuff out there because it never happened.
No.
It never happened, and it would never have happened with any manager that ever managed the Republic of Ireland.
No matter what no matter what you think of the two characters, Keane and what's his name from Barnsley, McCarthy.
Oh yeah, Mick McCarthy, yeah.
I think at the end of the day, they both wanted the same thing.
They did, but you know, I mean, the thing with that was that Roy and Mick didn't. They had a clash of personalities, and it was nothing to do with, you know, the so-called plastic paddies that they come out with and talk about. There was never, in my time with the Irish team and with all the lads that I was with, there was never once any mention made of where a player was born. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. If you were qualified for Ireland and you were picked in the squad, that was it. You were part of the group, and nobody.
Yeah.
It wasn't even. I don't think it even entered people's minds, to be honest.
No.
You know.
No. I believe you. I believe that.
But and for you know, for them to be saying that about Roy and Mick, the problem that Roy and Mick had was it happened at the US in the World Cup in the US, and they played a match, and I'm not sure where it was, but the lads after the game were in the bar, you know, as they normally do, go in afterwards, whether to have a beer or pop or whatever it is they were drinking, and Roy was in there with a couple of his buddies, and there was a time that apparently they were supposed to be back on the bus, and Roy didn't make it. So the story goes that Jack sent Mick, who was the team captain, to go get Roy and bring him back, you know, get him onto the bus. And apparently when Mick went in there and Roy was there with the boys, whatever was going on was going on. And Mick said to him as they're walking back, "Call yourself a professional." And then Roy went off at him, "Call what you've got a first touch." And that, you know, that's the way footballers talk to each other, you know, the insult, you know.
Yeah.
You can control the ball further than I can kick it, you know, and all that kind of stuff comes out. But, and that's when it started. But on that trip as well, Roy had a falling out with Maurice Setters.
Yeah.
And Jack had to get him in front of the cameras to show that there was nothing going on. And it was a very uncomfortable moment for both the boys, for Maurice Setters and for Roy. But, you know, sometimes characters just don't get on. And that was Roy and Mick.
They don't.
And Mick, Mick is a great guy. I've known him since we played against each other at Barnsley numerous times. And I always got on well with him. I always liked him. He was good company and what have you. And so it's just a clash of personalities, and it happens at every club around the place, you know. And it just happened to be that at that moment, and if you read into the whole thing, it was the equipment company that didn't have the gear there in Saipan. There's nothing to do with Mick. You know, and make it no control over it. I mean, once he
There's
says what
probably,
he wants, they
there
get
was
it.
probably the FAI's job to make sure that was there.
Yeah. So I mean that was their job to get stuff to there, and then
As you said, despite that, they didn't get on. So therefore, any small thing would be a big thing.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
But I think once Roy Keane made up his mind to leave, he certainly was not going back. You know, he certainly wasn't going.
no. I mean, and that was I mean, he made his decision, and that's that, and
Yeah.
he has to deal with that himself as it goes on. But yeah, it was a pity. It was a real pity because you think if he'd been there, what could they have done? I mean, I think they got to the quarterfinal there.
There was a possibility of reaching the final. Well,
Yeah,
an outside
but
chance.
but then again, I mean, if he'd been there, would it have been disruptive? And would the atmosphere still have been what it was before? I mean, this whole thing could have been one where they used the fact that Roy had left as a team building thing for the group. It's us against them now. We're on our own, and we get on and get with it. And the lads may have just bonded on that and played out their skins to get where they got to. But it would have been nice to have seen him there and see what he might have been able to do to help the team.
That film is in the cinema, so people who are interested. But remember, it's just a film, and they take liberties in these films.
Well, yeah, and it's like I mean, it's like The Damned United.
Yeah.
The book was a great book. I mean, it was a terrific book to read. But there were liberties taken in that. The film, I don't know if you've ever seen the film with Martin Sheen in it. It was a good film, really good one. But again, it was the liberties, taken with it and what have you. And
it happens, and particularly with a story that everybody is familiar with. Familiar with,
yeah.
But anyway, Roy Keane is still going strong. McCarthy is still out there. Anyway, Joe.
And he's still been as controversial as ever.
And I'd like to thank Darwin as well. And his Wi-Fi crashed, I'm afraid. But so for Joe Waters and myself, we've come to the end of another sports show. Don't forget to join us next Monday night for another edition. We'll be talking again about Man United and Arsenal. They're playing next Sunday, and another test for them. So, Joe, thanks very much for your time, and a good week ahead of sport. And good night, and take care.
Good night, Pat. Take care. See you next.